Namaste.
Namaste.
That's it. Namaste, आपका फिर से स्वागत है हमारे our stupid reactions you did. Namaste, Corbin.
Namaste, Corbin.
Namaste, Corbin.
Do you look in the mirror every morning and say that to yourself?
Namaste, Corbin.
Yeah.
And they wrote us on. Please follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Juicy content.
It's so
And thank you for some picture and follow official Twitter account. Today we're doing a little educational video.
Oh.
It's been requested for a little while now and highly requested.
Is this about how to properly wipe your butt?
No, this is about what is Hinduism.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think it's a little educational video introducing people that know nothing. And we know stuff about Hinduism.
Yeah.
Obviously.
We're not complete buffoons.
No. But I think, hopefully, since it's been requested so much, I think they think it's a good video.
I hope so.
I hope Hindus are the ones recommending.
That would help.
But I think it would be nice to know, because obviously we watch films that Hinduism is a huge part of that.
Yes, slightly.
And so I'm hoping it explains certain little nuances that we don't know yet.
And thank you. Is this a result of us having asked stupid babies to send us more information about Hinduism and Islam?
Just so we can figure, know, like when we see stuff and it's talking about certain things in Hinduism or whatever that we can know about. And so I'm hoping.
And there's a lot. I know this about Hinduism. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah, but here we go.
Hinduism, the religion of over 1 billion people, is the world's oldest religion and probably the most confusing one to non-Hindus. Some say it isn't even a religion, more a way of life. Hindus themselves call it the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal tradition. So, what is Hinduism? Does YOLO apply to them? And who is this elephant guy? Well,
Ganesh.
let's find out.
I know that one.
Yep.
Hinduism is the world's oldest civilization, and the nomads that came into India around 1500 BC.
He's
Some
Irish.
scholars say it could even go back many more thousands of years. But we won't delve too deep into dates, because dates in Hinduism are very, very controversial. But one thing is certain, Hinduism is old. Like, at least 36 Hinduism has been around for so long that it and the concept of India itself are inseparable.
Hindustan.
Hindu and India even come from the same word. Sanskrit was the ancient language of the Hindus, and the Sanskrit name for the Indus River is Sindhu. The ancient Persians who sat across the Indus tended to switch their S's to H's, so Sindhu became Hindu. So the people living across the river became Hindus. The Persians told the Greeks, who dropped that very not Greek-like H, stuck in a very Greek-like E to the end, and boom, India. Hinduism has a long, long history. But today we'll be focusing on just the core beliefs of Hindus because I don't have the willpower to animate a 3-hour-long video. Hindus are a diverse group.
I love the
Some are
Irish.
strict, dedicating their lives to prayer, while others don't believe in any gods but still follow Hindu philosophy. To make things easier to understand, let's break Hinduism down into 7 core beliefs. So, here's my rap about the 7 Hindu beliefs.
You promised you weren't gonna do the rap. Come on, you're better than this, man.
Fine, here's the regular version then. 1. Belief in one universal soul. Hindus believe in a universal soul known as Brahman, a formless, genderless source of all reality. Brahman is the universe and the material that makes up the universe.
Okay.
It's a trippy concept, but think of Brahman as an ocean and everything else as drops propelling out of that ocean. Separate for a time, but still the same thing, if that makes sense. 2. Belief in an immortal individual soul. In Hinduism, souls are known as Atman. Actions of the soul while in a body have effects on that soul's next life. When you die, your soul moves to another new body. This is called transmigration. The kind of body the soul inhabits next is determined by karma. 3. Belief in karma. Karma is action, usually good or bad actions that affect society. For Hindus, karmic actions in the past affect us today, and our actions today affect our soul's future. 4. Belief in moksha. The goal in Hindu life is to somehow get back to Brahman. If a Hindu can do this, they will be freed from the cycle of life and death. This is called moksha. You can achieve moksha by realizing your oneness with Brahman. How you realize this is up to you. For this reason, Hindus pray, lead me from the unreal to the real. 5. Belief in the Vedas. The Vedas are Hindu sacred books of knowledge. There are 4 Vedas. Hindus believe that all 4 were divinely revealed to ancient Hindu sages. We'll take a closer look at the Vedas in a while. 6. Belief in cyclical time. For Hindus, there are no beginnings or endings. Time is a series of cycles, each cycle containing 4 ages or yugas. There's the Krita, the Treta, the Dwapara, and the Kali. Added together, the 4 yugas total about 4.32 million years. At the end of each cycle, declining human morality leads to the total destruction of reality. Hindus believe that we are in the 4th and final yug, Kali. 7. Belief in Dharma. Dharma is a difficult word to translate to English. Proper behavior is the best that I could come up with. Dharma maintains balance in the universe. As long as everything in the universe, like animals, plants, and humans, follow their Dharma, then everything will be fine. If they break from the Dharma, though, things will be super not fine.
Dharma Productions.
Each being has its own Dharma. A lion's Dharma is to kill and eat antelope. A king's Dharma is to rule well. A subscriber's Dharma is to smash the like button and ring the notification bell. For humans, their specific Dharma is usually based on their age and their caste. An old priest will have a very different Dharma than a young merchant, for example. So those are the 7 core beliefs of Hinduism. With them, you can understand the Hindu mindset. Unlike Christianity or Islam, Hinduism is a non-profit organization. There is no Jesus or Muhammad for Hindus. There is no Bible, Quran, or Torah. Instead, they have a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of different sacred texts. The 4 Vedas form the basis of the Hindu faith. So let's take a look at them. 1. The Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is a collection of songs that praise and discuss ideas like truth, reality, and the universe, along with discussions on war, weddings, and rituals. 2. The Yajur Veda. The Yajur Veda covers stuff such as sacrificial rites and rituals. 3. The Sama Veda. Sama literally means sweet song that destroys sorrow. It is mostly songs dedicated to praising gods. It's different than the rest of the Vedas because it's set to music. 4. The Atharva Veda. The Atharva Veda is my favorite one. Do you want to curse your enemies? Or charm that special someone? Maybe learn to invoke rain? Or discover herbal medicine along with tips on warfare? Like how to make poison arrows? Well, this Veda has you covered, along with a bunch of other charms and curses. It even has a curse against cursers. Avoid us, O curse, as a burning fire avoids a lake. Strike him here that curses us, as the lightning of heaven the tree. A link to the Atharva Veda is in the description, just in case you need a spell to get a wife or another to banish pigeons from your presence. It's great. After the Vedas come the Upanishads, which are like a sequel that makes the original make much more sense. They were probably written down between 800 BC and 500 BC, during a time when some Hindus started to question the Vedas. Their ideas became the Upanishads. The Upanishads are books on philosophy, like we would expect from Plato or Aristotle. They're all about questioning, doubt, debate, and finding the answers to life's difficult questions. A theme in the Upanishads is that people are not their minds, or bodies, or egos, but their Atman. Your soul is you. Everything else is unreal and temporary. After the holy texts like the Vedas and the Upanishads are other less divine but still important texts. These include stuff like the Puranas, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Puranas are like encyclopedias of Hindu beliefs. There are 18 well-known Puranas. The Puranas cover things from yoga, to army organization, to taxation, to the caste system, to hell, gods, and everything in between.
Wow.
The Bhagavad Gita, Gita for short, is one of Hinduism's most important texts. The Gita takes place on a battlefield where Arjuna, a great warrior, refuses to fight. Lord Krishna steps in to urge Arjuna to fight, and their discussion covers things such as Dharma and how to live your best life. Arjuna eventually fought after Lord Krishna taught him the truth about Dharma. As a member of the warrior caste, Arjuna's Dharma was to fight against evil. The lesson of the Gita is that everyone faces difficult choices, but they must act on them according to their dharma, no matter how unpleasant. Along with all these philosophical texts, Hinduism has two action-packed epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Ramayana, the earlier of the two texts, tells the story of Prince Rama. In the epic, you find out about his 14-year-long exile, the abduction of his wife Sita, his battle with the evil demon Ravana, and his awesome monkey sidekick Hanuman.
What is that, Bill?
The second epic, the Mahabharata, is the longest poem in the world. 5 times the length of the Bible and 8 times the length of the Iliad and Odyssey combined. It rivals any soap opera you've ever seen when it comes to drama.
Gasps.
Murder, betrayal, love, murder, and giant battles. The Mahabharata has it all. The theme running through the Ramayana and the Mahabharata is that dharma must be followed for society to function. In Hinduism, there are 4 goals a person should aim for to have a good life. The first of these is dharma, followed by artha, the pursuit of prosperity and good reputation, kama, pleasure both in body and in mind, and moksha, the release from the cycles of rebirth. Hindus should practice artha and kama with dharma in order to achieve moksha. There are also 6 temptations Hindus should try and avoid. Kama, lust and materialism. This kama is different from the good kama mentioned above, I know. Next is kruda, which is anger, lobha, which is greed, moha, which is unrealistic attachment to things, people and power, mala, which is pride, and matsarya, which is jealousy. By following their dharma and avoiding these 6 temptations, a Hindu can break the cycle of rebirth and have their soul merge back into Brahman.
Gotcha.
But even though everything comes from Brahman, who is the one real thing in Hinduism, Hindus do, after all, have thousands of gods. So let's take a look at them. First, there's Brahman, the creator. He created everything in the universe, but he is not the universe itself, because that's Brahman. They aren't the same thing. That last letter changes a lot, apparently. He has 4 heads. The heads face each of the 4 directions to represent the 4 Vedas, which he created, and the 4 yugas. He also holds a book, which represents knowledge. Oh, and he rides a giant swan because he's just fancy. His consort is Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Vishnu, the preserver, is the second member of the Hindu trinity. He preserves the world created by Brahma until it is eventually destroyed by Shiva. He holds a discus which he uses to cut down anyone that tries to mess with his dharma, along with a conch which symbolizes victory and the 5 elements. Vishnu has many avatars, such as Krishna or Rama, who he uses to defend dharma on earth.
We know some of these.
Oh, and he rides a giant eagle named Garuda.
Whoa.
Vishnu has 2 consorts, the goddess Lakshmi and Bhudevi. Bhudevi is the earth goddess and Lakshmi is the goddess of good fortune and wealth. Next is Shiva the Destroyer, the 3rd member of the Hindu trinity. It's his job to destroy the universe in order to prepare for its renewal at the end of each cycle of time. The most identifiable of his features is his 3rd eye, which he almost always keeps closed. If he does open it and you're in front of him, then you will have your face melted off. When not on making existence, Shiva enjoys long walks with his bull named Nandi. At the end of the Kali Yuga, the 4th age of the world, Shiva will perform a dance that destroys the universe. Which is odd because people have told me that my dance moves make them wish the world would end. So me and Shiva have quite a lot in common. Parvati and Sati are Shiva's consorts. Shiva also has 2 sons, Ganesha and Murugan. Ganesha is worshipped as the remover of obstacles, and Murugan is the god of war. Ganesha holds a very special place in the heart of Hindus, due to him being the remover of obstacles. The elephant head is the most obvious clue to identifying him. He was actually born with a human head, but after Shiva cut that one off, he kind of had to make do with an elephant one.
Oh, really?
If you're Christian or Muslim, you're aware that your religion has a bunch of different denominations, like Catholics or Protestants, Sunni and Shia. Hinduism has these too. Hindus developed 4 major denominations, some of which have their own subdivisions. The Vaishnavas primarily worship Vishnu, and Shaivas primarily worship Shiva and his sons. Smartas follow sacred texts like the Puranas, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata rather than the Vedas. They worship 5 gods and goddesses, Ganesha, Durga, Surya, Shiva, and a preferred avatar of Vishnu. Finally, Shaktas worship the goddess Devi. Shaktas see Devi as the ultimate and eternal reality, like a feminine Brahman. Even though there are all these variations and more, the core beliefs of Hindus remain mostly the same. Hindus believe that Dharma keeps the balance in the universe. If the scales between good and evil start tipping towards evil, then something needs to intervene to fix the universe's Dharma. This divine intervention is known as an avatar. The literal meaning of the word avatar is descent. Avatars are gods that descend to Earth to intervene whenever help is needed to restore Dharma. For example, when the Earth was dragged underneath the ocean, Vishnu descended to Earth as the avatar Raha, a boar, and dragged the Earth back out. In other cases, Vishnu was born on Earth as a human avatar like Rama or Krishna, where he spent his avatar's life fixing Dharma. So, the caste system. If you only know one thing about Hinduism, this is probably it. People see it as an oppressive system that locks people in place based on their birth. And for a huge part of history, that's what it's been, unfortunately. Let's do a quick explanation of what the caste system is. In Hinduism, there are 4 castes or classes that you can be born into. There's the Brahmin, the priest, the Kshatriyas, the warriors, the Vaishyas, the traders, and the Shudras, the manual labourers. The main basis for the caste system can be found in the Bhagavad Gita and the Rig Veda. Krishna says in the Gita, I have created a 4-fold system in order to distinguish among one's qualities and functions. The Rig Veda also refers to the 4 castes. It says humans were created from parts of the god Purusha, the Brahmin from his face, the Kshatriya from his arms, the Vaishya his thighs, and the Shudra his feet. This system was supposed to assign people functions based on their abilities, not their birth. If someone had the qualities of a Brahmin or a Vaishya, they could fill those roles. The Gita didn't restrict movement among castes, and the caste system functioned as intended for a while, until a document known as the Laws of Manu came about around the 5th century BC, popularly referred to as the Manu Smriti. They created hard rules for Hindu life.
Hard.
2 rules presented in it contributed to the way the caste system turned out. Manu states that the Brahmin were the lords of all castes, and he forbid moving among the castes. The caste you were born into was now the caste you're stuck in. If you give humans a hierarchy, they'll exploit it, and things will go sour pretty quickly. As time passed, Hindus began thinking in terms of upper and lower castes. Soon, cleaning toilets, tanning leather, and dealing with meat products were thought to be impure. The people doing those jobs became untouchables.
Right.
The lowest of the low, a people without caste. And the rest is history. The modern world has brought many changes though. Now Hindus mix freely while working together in the same businesses, attending the same schools, and generally just living together. But when it comes to marriage, many Hindus still stick to their own caste. But this too is changing, and on Hindu dating websites you can actually see people list a non-preference for caste. It'll say, caste no bar. So, those are the basics of Hinduism.
Think about that.
It isn't even close to covering everything. One video simply can't do it. Hinduism is too diverse, too deep, and means too many different things to different people. But learning even the basics of this fascinating and ancient religion gives us an insight into the worldview of over 1 billion people. And I hope you enjoyed it. You can find all the sources used in the description below.
That was actually a really good video.
I thought that was a really good video.
One really impressive because he animates all of this.
Wow.
Which is not
easy.
Like that takes a lot of time to animate, but he also gave it a lot of humor, and I feel we're not going to break down what was.
Oh no!
If we know if something was true and what wasn't, that's
you're only hearing us nod about stuff we've heard before.
Yeah. So
we don't know whether it's accurate or not.
I would assume a lot of this is accurate because I was sent this by a lot of people.
Right.
And so I'm hoping a lot of the information was correct. You can let us know if it was. Obviously, we're not. And I actually did not know that caste came from Hinduism.
Oh yeah.
No, I thought it was just an Indian institution. It makes sense that it came from a religion.
Yeah. No, I knew untouchables were the lowest caste, and you know where I learned that actually?
I learned that from Lagan.
I learned it when I was a kid. I saw Gandhi. And that was the first time I saw the representation of
Ben
the Untouchables.
Kingsley's?
Yeah, Ben Kingsley's.
I still haven't seen
And
it.
Richard Attenborough directed it. And I know a lot of you don't like that film necessarily, and I understand why. There's a lot of reasons behind why you wouldn't like it. But that was my first exposure, because being a movie lover, when Gandhi came out, it was nominated for like 9 Academy Awards. It won Best Picture. Ben Kingsley won Best Actor. And there's a cameo by Daniel Day-Lewis in it.
Is there really?
There is. It's one of his first roles. He plays a bully in an alley who bullies Gandhi and this Catholic priest who's a friend of Mahatma Gandhi. And it's just one little moment. He has like 2 lines in it. A really young Daniel Day-Lewis.
Interesting.
But that's where I learned that there was such a thing as a caste system, and that there were untouchables.
I knew about the cast. I didn't learn about that till the Untouchables until Lagan. That was I think the first time that I learned about all the terms. And then I think what really helped was Article 15 actually helped a lot. With learning about that whole thing, but also in terms of other information, it's nice that movies have taught us a lot of like a lot of you guys helped. I mean,
I had a thought, and this is just me putting one thing here and connecting it over here. Remember when we first saw the 3 Idiots? Mm-hmm. And we learned about the pressure that's put on young people to become either an engineer or primarily being an engineer, but in 3 Idiots. And I wonder, because I've gotten messages from a lot of stupid babies, as I'm sure you have, who have said, my family has an expectation of me to go in this direction, whether it's marrying somebody or following this career, but I want to do this. And I wonder, for those who come from Hindu families, which would be a huge proportion, is it a dharma thing for the families? Do they believe the child needs to go in that direction because that's their dharma? That just occurred to me watching this. Does that create a worldview framework for some of those expectations on who you marry, where you live, and what you do? Mm-hmm. It would make sense if it does. I don't know. You can tell us. It occurred to me. And what I love about this video as well is I feel like it's accessible for both adults and kids. I feel like a little kid could learn from this and be engaged.
Oh yeah.
And it keeps me engaged.
Yeah, and I think we saw that in a different video where it was an animation. I think it was maybe of some festival. It was an animation video, which we need kid level classes.
We really do. We really enjoy it.
And
with cartoon visuals.
And stuff we don't know, cartoon visuals help.
Yeah, what was the one with
it was
the beautiful drawings?
I think
the pencil drawings.
It was one of the festivals.
Okay.
But
was it Durga Puja?
Might have been.
It may have been one of our first introductions to Durga Puja.
I think it was one of those.
Anyway.
Yeah, it was a really good video. Really, it was funny how often in life that you hear certain things and you don't realize till you're older that they're from different parts. Like you hear a bunch of like you've heard Kama Sutra your whole life.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Right? Well, yeah, but it does not. I thought it was. Once again, I thought it was just an Indian thing. I didn't know it was a Hindu thing.
Right.
It never made that connection, which makes sense, obviously, because Hindus and India
kind
of go almost hand in hand.
Right.
But it never occurred to me that this was anything other than just an Indian thing.
Right. And most people here, I think, would think that. I think most people in America would think, when you think the Kama Sutra, they would think Indian. They wouldn't think necessarily Hindu. I could be wrong in that regard. It also happens to be a moment I laughed out loud in Super Deluxe. When the alien starts taking off the clothes, it's a girl, and he goes, oh, Kama Sutra. That was a very Robin Williams moment that made me laugh out loud. Yeah. And another thing, too, I don't know, there's a lot of us Americans who are pretty darn stupid. And I know there's a lot of people who just don't even know the difference between Hinduism and Buddhism.
Oh, yeah.
In America.
Yeah.
Just don't know. It's not taught. It's for those who are taught to, they just kind of zone it out and leave it be. And they would, just like, remember when we started to really understand the nature of the Sikh and how we said a lot of people here, if someone's wearing a turban, most Americans are going to instantly make the assumption that person's Muslim.
There's a lot of ignorant people in America, of course, but also just around the world. And especially when it comes to religion.
Yes.
People are very ignorant in terms of religion. Religion is I'm not saying religion itself is dangerous, but religion can be dangerous in terms of how people use it.
Correct.
Obviously, throughout history, most of the wars have been about religion.
Correct.
So regardless of what the religion is, it's people are very passionate, and so they don't want to learn about another religion because they're like, no, that's
because every religion, especially the big global world religions, every single one of them have had bad things done in their name, and because of that, many people have said, no way, because you suck. And granted, that's a justifiable stance. There's been crappy things done in the name of every world religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the sad thing is it causes so many people to just immediately put it in a prejudicial box rather than...
As opposed to learning...
And assume. Assume every Hindu's that way, every Muslim's that way, every Christian's that way, every Jew is that way.
I wish it would be more, because in America there's a lot of just Christians that want the Bible taught. And I'm like, why don't you want every religion taught? So people can have a worldview so they can understand each other.
We've got...
Like, why? I don't get it.
There was a spokesperson for a campaign of a senator who was on a talk news show who objected to the possibility that a Muslim could be in Congress because they said when you get sworn in, you got to put your hand on a Bible.
One, that's not true.
Well, that's what the newscaster was telling the spokesperson for a campaign of a senator.
Yeah,
a spokesperson
I know
for, you know what I'm talking about.
I've seen it.
And they didn't know that the person could put their hand on the Quran if they want to. Actually thought it was law in America that you have to swear on a Bible. That's not the law. And we do now have Muslim senators.
That was a tough scenario for some of them too, because there was also a law that she couldn't wear her hijab.
I know.
And thankfully, that was changed.
It was
quickly.
changed. Yes.
But there was, like, there's just so many things that were obviously off topic, but this was. I enjoyed this video. I enjoy learning more about it, one, so we can better understand.
I want
you
to
guys.
know more. I want to know. Send us stuff on Islam. Send us stuff
Yeah.
on Jane. Send us stuff on.
So we can understand more about you, but also understand, because obviously a lot of these that we've seen are referenced in almost every Indian film we've seen.
Yeah, I remember when we watched Badla, I wanted so badly to know what Big B's references were when he was constantly referring to these texts and saying these stories. And I don't know how many movies we've watched where
Almost all of them.
Almost all of them, and it was really great when we started to watch some, and I could, like, for example, I had learned about Durga Puja before we watched Kahani. So it was so cool to watch and pick up on. I know what that means.
Yeah. So we enjoyed this. This was a great video too. Shout outs to that guy. I'll link this video down in the description below.
Oh, and yes, by the way, what he said is absolutely true. Hit the like and the subscribe button.